Today is Thursday, the 18th of September, 2025. This is part 2. So, in the dream, before the dream, I was hearing a concert in my head. A whole concert, I was hearing it. I understand why I was hearing the concert. And then it started shifting from the concert to just a void. And the void was shaping itself to be other things. So it was kind of like I was in the astral realm. And what was transpiring had not actually formed, or it was in the process of being formed. Because that's how, oh my gosh, they're giving me even more. In an astral realm. So the dream hadn't entirely formed, but I was shifting from my root, my foundation, into the astral, right? And I was also being called. I did not go because I was being called. It was meant for me to be called, right? I know that now because ancestors, they were with me. And it's a learning moment. So, heard the concert, seeing the void. Then I start seeing this apartment. And the apartment was not entirely formed, but it was like colors of blue and pink. Oh my goodness. And I understand why those colors. Trying to gain access through communication. Wow. Because that's the colors I kept seeing. I kept seeing blue and pink, blue and pink. And it was like the room was divided. It was separated between those two colors. The top of the room, and it wasn't like a full room. I just felt it was an apartment. The top of the room was blue, and the bottom half of it was like a magenta pink. And the angel was sitting there on the bed. So to me, that represents her trying to use things that she thinks that I'm still connected to gain access. That's why they will show up with her in the dream. So it's kind of like trying to appear, not just as the angel of light, but trying to appear like with defenses low, like you're not a threat. Right? And so after it switched from the concert to the void to the apartment, we ended up in that apartment, and then this old home. And the home represented her inner world. In this home, outside appeared bright white, but there weren't a lot of windows, but the windows that were there, it was like a one-level home. The windows that were there, they were at the top crevice of the ceiling and the top of the inner wall. And that's how I could kind of see outside. But there was one window, okay, I'm seeing there was one window, but there was nothing shining through that window. So this was all like appearance thing, right? I could see the kitchen, the lights were on in the kitchen, but it was still, I felt this energy of like murkiness and cloudedness. I was not clouded, but the mood of the home was murky and clouded. So the atmosphere was clouded, right? It was hazy. though I could see. It felt like that. So it was energy. It was emotion, right? Hence the reason I kept hearing the song, Emotions Taking Me Over. Because that's what the energy was calling for me to be. So this is really incredible. This is teaching me a lot about the nonverbal, the unconscious, and the subconscious too. Because I don't know if she really rocks with them like that. I'm assuming that she don't from the last time that, I knew her anyway. But if she does not know that that song was coming to me, then she was not sending it. But that means her intention was sending that energy to me for me to be responsive or reactive to it, or to embody the energy of that song. Because if you embody the energy of emotional destitution or poverty, girl, literally where I've been working, girl, if you embody the song, then you are primed to the intention fulfillment of whoever's sending out the intention. AKA, they can get what they came for. Because you've embodied the frequency necessary for them to take whatever they want to take from you. There was a kitchen, and the kitchen was long. I could even see the doorway, right? But the wallpaper was all old and it was plastic over it. I have never been into a home where the wallpaper was old and then it was covered in plastic. I have never seen that in my waking life, but I know what it means. And so saw the long kitchen. I saw the door. There was a light over the kitchen stove on, and over the stove's light, over the range. And so the rest of the dream was in the living room. It was in 2 rooms, but it shifted so much so quickly, and I understand why. Because that was not my internal world, it's her internal world. And so in the dream, we were sitting, I'm looking at the living room right now. There were pictures of death behind the plastic. And it appeared to me not that there were holes, but there were parts of that wall, kind of like concrete that had been broken off or chiseled into, but it wasn't that much that was broken off. But there was pictures of death that was covering the quote-unquote imperfection. And we already know that Virgo energy, when it's in its shadow state, everything got to be perfect for them. Because if it's not, then they don't understand anything outside of that. It's got to be this way. And even in the evolved state, they're still kind of like that. But the intention is not for control and domination. The intention is different, right? Because I have an apostle. I know a person that she is still like that to this day, but it's with good intention and it's for the right reasons, right? But that being said, there were pictures that were covering that concrete. She was standing in the middle of the room, and she was standing in front of a TV. The TV was off. It's kind of like she was the program, right? It's just because of what the meaning of TVs are. D'Angela was sitting on the left. Demaya was sitting on the right. There was 2 long couches. Well, there was a long couch on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, Demaya was sitting on it. So that was like the love seat. And she was talking And then suddenly the dream shifts to us being in this empty room, and there was a picture of death. And she was talking about, because I'm a Virgo, so that's an air sign. And I said, and she was like standing in front of me. She had this white shirt on, and she had her hair, and she was wearing pants. And she did not look back at me. Windows are the eyes to the eyes are the windows to the soul. That's where you can tell somebody's intention, right? Or you can get information without their permission. And so I answered in, the teacher way that I do. I said, well, Virgo energy is the most airy earth sign, but, and before I could explain it, I saw my protection, and it switched back to where the initial vision had occurred. Then from here, it starts switching real quick from her house to the apartment, to her house to the apartment, to her house to the apartment. So I understand what all this means and how this ties to what's been happening in my waking life too. And so she just felt like she was trying to get something from me. And I knew that that's what she was trying to do, right? And so she did not get what she was coming for. And I wouldn't even say that this is something that she was actively doing. I could be wrong, doubt it, but I could be wrong. And this is just because I have an open mind, right? There could be another perspective to look at this from. If this is not what she has actively been doing, then maybe my remembrance is just bringing this up so I can cleanse it. That could be it too. Because one thing that I do know, she do not have access to me anymore. Not the way that she used to. She doesn't. I can say that confidently. So it could be that my inner world is cleansing itself. It's purging, still purging. This was also a birthing. This was also a birthing. Because I learned so much from this dream. I learned so much from this dream. I'm very confident in the meaning. I'm very confident in the interpretations that have been coming to me. But with the dream, okay, I got you. We understand, spirit, we understand. But after that part of the dream was over, it's like my soul rested back in my body. And I started hearing the concert again. And then right before I got up, it's like I established a decree. And it was something about agency over my attention, basically. It this agency over my attention. So this happened. That's why I said she didn't call on my energy. My energy was called. She didn't call it. I think this was my soul doing more purging. And I made the space available for that to happen. So doing everything that I'm doing on the daily is really important. It's very important. And it's in direct alignment. Okay. So it's kind of like, I get it. I established, I say this thing where I say my words are low in my field. That's kind of what just happened. I established that in my dream state. So, yeah, I don't think it was her actively trying to, even though she do be trying to. Yeah, I think this is part of the clearing cycle. And that's probably why I wasn't like upset or triggered or anything. I don't really have a reason to, because you can't do anything. Like, you're out of my, you know how that saying would be saying with a woman, when you're in, but when you're out, you're out. That is how I am. When you are in my, when I love you, baby. But when you are out of my space, girl, you do not exist to me no more. I'm telling you, you do not exist. You are no longer relevant to me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's not a hatred thing. It's just, you show me who you are, I believe you. And I don't care what you got other people thinking. I know who you are to me. I know who you've been to me. So that's it. So that's probably why I wasn't triggered. And that's also, that's another good sign that I can see her and not be triggered. Because that also means that the tower moment that I had with her, the last one, that ended the cycle. So this was a purging. This is my, and that's so funny because in a reading it says that I have the ability to self-clean and self-clear, and that's rare. And I'm like, really? Okay. And I looked up why, and they gave me the incident. I remember why. But like, this was clearing. So that's probably why I even got excited and stuff, because it's a lot that I learned. A lot. Baby, when I tell you I learned a lot. So, oh my gosh, this has got, my mind is not racing, but there's so much that is coming to me that I would like to say that I'm going to allow it to gestate. Because, girl, I did not know I was preparing for this. But baby, when I tell you, this was such a beautiful occurrence. This was a beautiful occurrence. It taught me so much. To the point where even right now, as I'm talking, I'm still learning. It taught me so much. Like, this is probably a dream. I will probably be writing this for like a week.